Hey guys, we're here for our week 1 game of the SPL. We're taking on Swave this week, and if you guys enjoy seeing some singles draft league back again for the first time in ages with an alternate format in almost any ability, leave a like and subscribe for more. I might do another draft league in the future, kind of just depends on vibes really. But with that said though, we are taking on Swave. And looking at our schedule of 6, while there are a lot of tough teams, and I definitely do think that we're in the bottom half of drafts for sure, especially after seeing some of the post-draft stuff, there are a few things in particular that stick out about Swave's matchup specifically that actually make this arguably the most concerning matchup for our team. For starters, we get a lot of damage typically into a team like this from an option like Raikou, which I'll go over Raikou in a bit. But looking at Swave's team, Raikou does a lot of damage. I mean, for one, Swave doesn't really have Desolate Land outside of one Pokemon, and if it brings Desolate Land, I actually hard wall it with another member of my team. However, because of an option like Manaphy, Swave always has a free pivot because it is a Motor Drive Manaphy, and I can't even go for my water type moves like Weather Ball or Scald should I go with Primordial Sea. And even Refrigerate doesn't really solve that issue because it's still an Ice type stab at that point. The biggest issue after that though is that my next best Pokemon in this game is probably Great Tusk. And with Great Tusk, I have to worry about things like Levitate Iron Treads or Thunderous Therian that are both really big issues, as well as, again, a bulky Manaphy with Motor Drive. When we account for other Pokemon in this game, it looks to be pretty grim because a lot of my best offensive picks, like a Nam, get pretty heavily bullied by Swave's Pokemon, like for example Arcaludon and Thundurus and Iron Boulder. So it's going to be kind of an uphill battle. I think that Swave, though, realistically, if Swave does win this game, it's going to be less so on matchup. Swave is just a lot better of a player than I am. That said, though, I do have a few things that I think I've still found that will manage to put up a pretty decent fight. But let's start off with Raikou. As I mentioned, I did end up bringing Raikou this week. It is going to be a pretty terrifying Pokemon for sure with the Assault Vest. Now, this bulky Raikou should be pretty good. It'll outpace pretty much everything besides Boulder on Swave's team. It's going to be a great pivot, great at spamming Thunder once Manaphy is gone, and I do fully intend to clear that Manaphy with another Pokemon on my roster. It'll just take a moment, but I do feel like we can overcome it nonetheless. This Raikou overall, though, does great damage to things like the Thundurus because it's no longer immune to electric, so that Thunder is going to deal a ton of damage. It'll deal a ton of damage to Pokemon like Girder, which I'm not expecting. I should actually go over the 6 I am expecting. It's going to definitely be Manaphy, Iron Boulder, Iron Treads, Ogerpon, Hearthflame, Arcaludon, and Thundurus. If something subs in, I could maybe see something like one of the Thundurus or the Ogerpon, Hearthflame subbing out. I only think that one will sub out. I would skew slightly to Thundurus, and it would probably be for Skuntank, because Skuntank is really good. There's a big issue with those top 6 that I'll get into, and I think that Skuntank could solve it. I would be shocked if any of Florges, Girder, Arboliva, or Weirder came. While Girder and Florges do have somewhat of a matchup, I think Arboliva and Weirder outright have none. But regardless though, this Raikou, especially for those top 6, really the best check for it would probably end up being that Arcaludon. And the Manaphy, obviously, with Motor Drive, which that'll be a big problem. But other than those two, I have some decent checks to those. Now, let's talk about Latias up next, which is going to be our Prism Armor Latias. It's going to be a pretty decent Calm Mind option with Calm Mind, Recover, Shadow Ball, and Psyshock. Actually, I believe, yeah, we are we Sword Power or Psyshock? I honestly forget. Psyshock, yeah, okay. I deliberated Psyshock and Sword Power up until the literal minute before the battle, because with Sword Power, it does a pretty decent job into most Pokemon here. However, Psyshock does slightly more into Florges, and it still does a lot of damage into things like AV Manaphy or Take Heart Manaphy as well, which, fun fact, I did forget until after the game that Take Heart Manaphy was basically Calm Mind, so in my notes I put Calm Mind, but yeah, Take Heart Manaphy. But overall, though, this is still a pretty decent Calm Mind option. Skuntank is kind of a problem for this. It's one of the 2 reasons I actually think that Skuntank could end up coming to this game, and I wouldn't be too surprised to see it. It's got 2 really good abilities in Earth Eater, which means that it's going to sponge hits from my Tusk, meaning that it is actually a very difficult Pokemon for me to KO, because my best means around it would suddenly become a Nam with Moonblast, or Vessel of Ruin, which, while it means that I do have a check in my Great Tusk, it means that my Latias, my Poltegeist, my Nam, my Raikou are all dealing so much less damage to it. So both abilities on it would actually be kind of problematic for my matchup, but I'm still anticipating the top 6 ever so slightly. Especially because with Ogerpon's abilities, it actually has Turbo Blaze. I forgot to mention that, but it is the big reason I cannot bring my Heatran into this game, and my Heatran not coming means that I suddenly have a lot worse of a matchup into Arcaludon, into Ogerpon, into, well, Ogerpon technically because it is Turbo Blaze. I really just don't have a way to break that, honestly. and then into a lot of other Pokemon because it was a nice neutral check into things like Skuntank, Florges, etc. But it is what it is. Regardless though, this Combine Latias should be pretty decent. I just need the Skuntank Gong if it comes, and if not, this thing is meant to recover up on things like Boulder, so I should be able to go pretty decent into this team. Up next, we have the Pokemon that is the other reason that I think this wave might bring Skuntank, being a Shell Smash Poltegeist with Shadow Shield. Now, this is going to be a very terrifying option, and I actually think that if Skuntank comes, this is the Pokemon that is the reason I'm not surprised by that. Overall, this Poltegeist in particular is going to be able to take hits from a lot of Swave's team, and outside of a Swift Swim Arcaludon, which is the reason I still think that Thundurus could end up coming to this game, is because Swift Swim Arcaludon is pretty decent, though Primordial Sea, I feel like, is going to be still a really decent option in my team, and I don't know if Swave needs the speed, and he could probably instantly go for the bulk here. But Swift Swim is like the big check to this, because Timid can creep, and even Modest can if Swave 4 goes a lot of bulk. But overall, though, the Poltegeist does a lot of damage into this team. It's great because of the fact that Swave's best ghost check really is the Skuntank, and if I can wear down the Skuntank, especially if it's a physical Skuntank, because then I can just Strength Sap it. But otherwise, though, if I can wear down the Skuntank, this actually can become a really big problem for Swave, and it could honestly end up reverse sweeping. I'm banking my entire game plan into this Poltegeist. I will literally throw out 3, 4, 5 Pokemon if I have to, because this Poltegeist is truly my only way of winning the game, unless his Swave does not bring Skuntank, and then Latias also actually becomes a win con. I guess if Swave doesn't bring Arcaludon, then my Meowscarada could be a win con, but, like, Arcaludon is coming to the game, if we're being honest. It's probably one of Swave's best threats here. Overall, though, the Poltegeist is going to be incredible, and I do think that we are banking, like, our entire game on this. Which I will say as well makes me a little surprised and a little bit scared, because I would hate personally to bank on such a gimmicky win con, to say the least, but I think this is a big reason why I like Shadow Shield on this Pokemon. And the Pixelate almost ended up coming because it was a decent way to hit this Skuntank besides Strength Sap Shadow Ball, but I need the ability to make sure I get set up on things like Manaphy and other neutral targets, so we're going Shadow Shield with Boots. Up next, we have a Berry Sheer Force Namorous Incarnate, well, a Namorous Therian, I should say. Really just meant to be Dual Dance this week. It's kind of a backup win con, but I don't really know when I'll get to set it up, I'll be honest. That said, though, I didn't really need an item like an Assault Vest because I just didn't need the bulk. This thing isn't really taking on any hits from things like Manaphy if it's set up already, and Thundurus is still nailing me. It's not like I needed Specs because I'd rather honestly just go for setup, though Specs could have been good here too, to be fair. I felt like overall that just the Dual Dance set could be really decent. I can creep any non-Scarpers with this just perfectly. Shout out to Sunam's really weird speed here at 46, because it's the reason I can creep Boulder actually by 1 point. So just modest Dual Dance. We're just gonna go for Fairy and Ground. This is kind of the reason, though, that Earth Eater Skuntank could be a problem, is because suddenly now I just have to go for Fairy moves, and in an AV, Earth Eater Skuntank could still do some decent damage to my team. That said, though, Vessel of Ruin still does put up a lot of pressure on this Pokemon, but at least I can go for Sheer Force and Earth Power, and that will probably at least 2 KO Skuntank. I can't imagine it wouldn't. But overall, though, this Enam is still really terrifying first wave, and I think it can pop off. I just need the right turn. Up next, we have Meowscarada, which is going to be our choice Scarf Meowscarada this week. This is the big reason why I think that matchups like, for example, Boulder and Manaphy are going to be able to be thankfully overcame. And it's why I mentioned that if Arcaludon did not come, that this choice Scarf Meowscarada actually kind of just wins. It can pivot on things like Ogerpon, for example. Knockoff is really spammable into most of the team. Flower Trick is a phenomenal option to clear the Manaphy and the Boulder. So even a more defensive Manaphy is going to take a ton of damage from this. It should hopefully one-shot. If not, it'll come very, very close. We even still have plenty of options, like, for example, Low Kick to hit the Arcaludon should we need to, but I would like to not have to lock Low Kick because it is really just here for Arcaludon and kind of treads. But yeah, this is a great physical option, though. It should deal a ton of damage into Swave's team. There's not a lot to say about this. I'm really just creeping it for Motodraw Manaphy in case I accidentally give it the +1 speed. That way, then I can still take it out very confidently. And yeah, Meowscarada should hopefully put up some good numbers. And finally, of course, we have Great Tusk, which is going to be another Choice Scarf option this week. I actually think that the Scarf Great Tusk does a pretty decent job here because, again, similar to our Nam, this isn't really taking great hits from Swave's team because of things like Weather Ball Thundurus or even just Manaphy in general, being a lot of really good special threats that put up a ton of pressure on my team anyway. I don't really have switch-ins, so instead getting good revenge killers could be a really good way around Swave. Ground is actually really spammable here outside of the Treads and the Thundurus, so I'm fully intending to just kind of click Headlong Rush and profit. We'll have to see, though. But this is meant to just kind of creep everything that's not a Scarf option here, and I think, honestly, Tusk is going to put up some pretty decent options into Swave overall. Ground and fighting does so good here. Really, the only actual defensive check is the Thunderous, and thankfully, I have a great way to hit that. So I feel really good about the Tusk this week. We'll have to kind of just see how it goes, but I think I fully intend to lead with either this, or if not the Tusk, I'll probably lead with Raikou. I'd like to not have to reveal a Scarf if possible early game, but with Tusk at the very least, I might have to be, just because of the fact that I can maybe fake Rocks and then go for a decent kill into something like maybe Boulder or Thunderous or Ogerpon, and any of those would be a fantastic KO to claim. With that said, though, let's get right into the battle. All right, we are here. I will say, a lot of different Pokemon that Wait, oh, I'm mad. I'm so mad. Oh my god. So, for context, I'll mention this in my builder, because I always record my builders after, for this reason. I really thought Hearth Flame would come, because I thought Hearth Flame was so obnoxious to my team, so I benched Heatran. You know how good Heatran would have been here? Oh my god, I'm actually kind of mad. I'm kind of mad. I think honestly, Heatran would have been a phenomenal option with like Wall-Baked Body. Or honestly, not even Wall-Baked Body. No, I would have done Levitate. Levitate would have been decent though for like the Boulder though. Is what it is. Is what it is. We could still work with this. Frankly, I still like the team we have, but like, unfortunate. Thunderous T, Manaphy, Arcaludon, Iron Boulder, Skuntank, and Girder. Okay, a very free lead here. I should have talked about this when I actually built with Harris, but seeing that there's no, I think that my lead is probably, yeah, screw. No, I don't want to reveal Scarf too early. I think I'm going to go with, I think I'm going to just go with, oh my god. I'm going to go with Tusk. I think Tusk is a decent lead, actually, because barring Manaphy, actually, this has a lot of decent round turn one. And if Manaphy specifically does lead, that's fine, but it's not going to like having to switch in on like a Headlong Rush or anything. And me switching out my Great Tusk on Manaphy, once it does come in, will not exactly be the thing that like makes people suddenly go, oh, wait a second, that's a Scarf Great Tusk. Thunderous lead. Okay, see? Perfect. This is a great lead for me. Now, we're going to see if Drizzle immediately, if not, we know it's Sheer Force, which is fantastic. It is Drizzle. Okay, cool. So that means that a few different things. That is probably going to imply that Manaphy is most likely going to be more of an offensive set, but more importantly, that Arcaludon is probably going to be Switch Swim over Primordial Sea, because why would you run both in this situation, right? That said, though, unless this has a U-turn, it's probably not going to, like, go for a pivoting move, per se. It will probably have to go for something like Psychic, or maybe just a hard switch. I'm honestly just going to go for Ice Spinner here. I need to remember not to click Terra, by the way, because that is going to be such a bad habit. I'm gonna talk about making that mistake multiple times this season, so I'm gonna try and actively talk myself out of it. Thankfully, it defaults all to Stab Terras, so that works out great, but I need to talk myself out of it, obviously. We do see that Thundy is not Scarf, and this Ice Spinner will do a ton of damage. That is a near KO. Perfect. Okay, cool. Weather Ball is gonna go off. That will kill my Tusk, but I think, honestly, this damage on Thunderous immediately is gonna be fantastic, because that's gonna clear through, like, my opponent's Rain Pokemon, because most likely, it's not dual Rain. Which works out really well for me. We've also realized that Thunderous is not Scarfed. Let's see, I'm just noting that down. Cool, okay. As far as my next Pokemon goes, I'm gonna go into Masquerade here, because Masquerade should be fine. Especially with Sword of Ruin, I can't imagine that this will not just KO outright. So we're honestly just gonna go for a U-turn here. I can't imagine that this will not just kill Thunderous at this point. But Sword of Ruin, plus the fact that, like, we're still decently offensive. I mean, I know we're Scarf, but we're still decently offensive. This Thunderous is not going to be bulky enough to take a U-turn. I would be shocked if it did. So that'll work out really well. We can potentially clear the Rain Pokemon, and if Swave does obviously preserve, we get some more initiative, and we can hopefully keep up the pace. So we are going to see Thunderous switch out here, most likely into Arcaludon if I had to guess. No, Girder. Okay, Girder is still fine. I could actually bring in Latias pretty free. Latias actually has a field day against this one, so that works out well. Girder is fluffy this game, which is good to note. Because again, Intimidate would have procced immediately if it was Intimidate. So we're going to go into Lumion here, and we're just going to start firing off Calm Mind. Because this Calm Mind should be really decent in this Swave's team, actually. Because of the fact that things like Ogerpon did not come, this Mon has a field day. So we're going to go for Calm Mind. Now, Swave could definitely go for Knockoff, but, like, there's no reason you stay in. Skuntank will probably be the Mon that comes in, and I'm kind of okay with that. Because with Prism Armor, I should be able to actually try and take this on 1v1. We're going to see Vestal of Ruin. Okay, cool. So, yeah, again, like, procs pretty easily. perfectly fine. Now I could definitely just go for Shadow Ball, but I think ultimately I am going to switch out a bit. Actually, I don't know what I really would like to switch into. I think I'd probably go into Raikou here. I'd probably go into Raikou here, yeah. Because without Tusk, actually, this mon is a little bit annoying, I can't lie. That said, though, I should still have more than enough damage off with my Raikou. And while Manaphy will definitely have some sort of, like, motor drive, I don't have to go for the electric here, which is okay. We're going to see T-Spikes go off from Skuntank. That's perfectly okay. Toxic Spikes will be a little bit problematic, but nothing crazy. Just to be safe, I'm going to go for a Weather Ball here, because it will do slightly more damage to Skuntank, and Manaphy will probably not take a ton of damage from either Pokemon, if we're being honest. And I would like to not immediately proc that speed boost, if possible. So we're gonna see Manaphy come in. That's perfectly fine. We'll be able to scout now because it's taking damage if it's Regenerator or not. And this at least does some not terrible damage. Like, I'm more than okay with that. We'll see leftovers as well on that. Perfect. Yeah, this is a Pokemon I'm honestly fine with waiting on the ability for. There's not really a huge reason to otherwise just go for that. We'll go for Aura Sphere just to be safe, because that'll deal more damage to Manaphy. And if it took that much from Weather Ball, I think Aura Sphere will at least deal around like 30. So if Manaphy's not going to go for like a raw tail low right away, we should be fine, especially with our Assault Vest. And this mon's really just here for like the Thundy Manaphy combination, and seeing as Thundy is so close to death, this should be okay. I'm just not letting Manaphy proc a Motor Drive here. That would be insane, because that suddenly means that I'm basically reliant on Meowscarada to win the game, and I would like to not put myself in that position turn like 5. So we're going to go for Aura Sphere here. That should do some decent damage. Manaphy will probably go for like a Calm Mind, knowing that it can kind of sit pretty here, but I'm okay with that. It should still be okay. Oh, wow, that does nothing. Oh, it just goes for Small. Alright, so I think I still honestly just kind of... Well, if it's going to go for Scald, I think I could probably go into Meowscarada here. Yeah, I'm trying to think. I think I go into Meowscarada, yeah. And then I'll just go for like a... Actually, this is kind of a problem. I think I need to go into Latias. I just need to break the Skuntank is the issue, and I don't have Tusk to do it anymore, which is going to be kind of a problem. Those T-Spikes are actually kind of bad, I can't lie. I'm going to bring in Latias. I would like to get Enam a bit safer before I bring it in. Honestly, I think in hindsight, maybe the Tusk wasn't the smartest play to sack turn 1 for Thundurus. But hindsight's 2020. We'll have to get a poison on our Latias, which is definitely unfortunate because his mom was pretty decent here. But my opponent's gonna go for Take Heart. Okay. So we hate that. We really hate that. I forgot this mon got Take Heart, and it doesn't even need Calm Mind now. I forgot it has that. Yeah, that thing's kind of juiced because it's like a status clear for it too. Okay. I mean, thankfully with Psyshock at least. I'm gonna go for a Calm Mind here, and then I'll go for Psyshock and just try and get what damage I can. Even if Skuntank comes in, I'm like, I would rather switch out here than let Manaphy like keep piling up damage when I'm not gonna do a ton back to it. At this point though as well, we're gonna see if, assuming it is Motor Drive, which I would be shocked if it isn't. Once we've revealed that, we can play around it more properly. Let's see. Okay, yeah, I'll need to switch here. So in terms of my Skuntank switching, I think I have to go back into Raikou, which is kind of unfortunate. This Raikou Manaphy is going to be actually such a problem, at least for like a little bit longer. We're going to go into Raikou here, yeah. It's also kind of unfortunate because that Archaludon is still going to be kind of a problem because my opponent has their own rain in the back. So that'll be kind of scary. Really kind of wishing I had Heatran in hindsight. I think Heatran would have been really good, specifically into the mons that Swave brought. But, I mean, again, I really thought Hearthflame would come, so I did bench it because of that. My opponent's going to go for knockoff here on Skuntank. Okay, that's fine. Let's see. Okay, so from here, because of the fact that we're going to die to poison in a bit, I can probably just go for Thunder and then scout for the Manaphy ability. Obviously, if it's regen, whatever. But I doubt this Wave is going to switch it in like that aggressively if it's not Motor Drive. That said, though, I would like to not get completely faked out by Swave not switching. Especially seeing that I did predict around Manaphy having Motor Drive the last time, so I'd rather not like let Swave get away with anything that he shouldn't. If Skuntank just goes for Sucker Punch as well, then so be it. I can't really do a lot about that. But I'll try and at least hopefully work around it with a Nam. A Nam should maul this thing, even despite the fact that it has Vessel of Ruin, and despite the fact that it's gonna have obviously like really good poison stab to hit me. I should still be able to do a ton. Actually, wait. No, I'm realizing that might actually really chew my hit, especially if it's AV. Well, no, it's not AV. It's it showed Toxic Spikes, so it's probably Shaka then. It's probably Shaka for a Nam, yeah. We're to see Skuntank withdraw. That's fine. Man, if he's gonna come back in. Okay, cool. I can at least get a pretty free switch into my Meowscarada. So we are gonna see Motor Drive pop. Okay. It is winning. I still stand by at least like getting attempt off, because again, if Skuntank did stay in there, that would be my move of choice for sure. And I'd like to not just give Manaphy a free turn. Manaphy will probably just go for a take art here, and then I'll go for Oris here for damage. Yep. Okay, cool. So it's at least some sort of damage, and then Meowscarada is gonna come in and force this thing right out anyway. So it's not really the worst exchange in the world, but we'll take it. Yeah, I'm trying to think through what I'll actually end up doing this turn. I think Swave, obviously Swave doesn't know that we're Scarfed yet, though I think it will probably become obvious. I know Swave's a really strong player. Swave would probably assume that if I bring in Meowscarada right now, though it might also just be assumed that like Manaphy's going to rail my team in a moment if I bring in Meowscarada right now. But nonetheless, though, I think I have to just take the obvious Flower Trick here. I really don't think I have a better play. Yeah, I think I'll have to just click Flower Trick here. I know there's a lot of good switch-ins to that, but I really don't think I have another choice, because I doubt the knockoff kills. There's no way this thing is not running Physical Pull. It's shown leftovers at least, so I don't need to worry about like a resistance berry, like for example Rindo. And Flower Trick will still do some decent damage, regardless of what comes in. We'll see Girder come in here. Okay, that's fine. Alright, yeah, this will at least do something. It's not going to do a lot, but it'll do something. Yeah, I mean, honestly, that's a lot better than I thought it would be. Now I would like to not let Girder just get a free fighting type move off, because Drain Punch is pretty inevitable. I'll go into Shanyun now, because regardless of what this clicks, it should be okay. And I can probably actually just click Earth Power for free, because whatever Mon would actually... Thundurus can come in. And there's no Fairy Resist. I could just click Moonblast. Please don't go into like our Caledon or Skuntank. Thundurus. Okay. Oh god, that's actually way worse. That is actually so much worse. Okay, well. I'm just gonna get Volt Switched on here. But I can't even, like, attempt to call that either, because, oh my god. I'm gonna have to go into Latias here and just kind of hope that it's not a Volt Switch turn. Losing Tusk like that, honestly, put me on way too much of a back foot. I really should not have made that play. Yeah, Thunder's gonna proc. Okay, cool. I'm gonna click Shadow Ball this time because I know that Skuntank's gonna come in, and I'm just gonna hope that I can maybe get a special defense drop for something else. I mean, on the bright side, I guess, like, Thunder's pretty weakened. When we got in, like, good chip on Girder and good chip on Manaphy. It's not perfect, but it is objectively something. That said, though, I'm just gonna Shadow Ball. I cannot let the Skuntank come in again for free. I need to at least get some sort of damage off. So we're gonna try and get whatever little bit of damage we can get off into that Mon. But no, this is a really terrible position for me, actually. Let's see. We don't even have a ton of information either on this team. Like, I have like 6 moves down at this point and like 3 abilities. Boulder's gonna come in. Okay, actually, Boulder coming in is pretty huge for me, I can't lie. This Shadow Ball is gonna deal a ton of damage to it. So this might actually be good. You know what? I will take that. That's like a 3 KO right there. We still don't know the ability yet on this Boulder, but that's kind of fine. We should still be able to take this on pretty well. And thankfully, Swave only got up 1 T-Spike, so I could actually maybe recover through this. It depends on the Boulder set, though. I'll go for recover first. Mighty Cleave. Okay, cool. It does kill. Damn it. Let's see. Okay. It's a Life Orb Iron Boulder with this. Okay, cool. And it's probably gonna be... I'm gonna guess it's probably Queenly Majesty, but it might be Sharpness, to be fair. I mean, this is still honestly fine. Because thankfully with Boulder here, I'm actually a lot less pressed to click Flower Trick. I can actually just go straight for Knockoff, and Knockoff will at least punish something here. So I'm gonna go for the Knockoff, just raw. We know that we outpace everything. It's a free knockoff. Even if Girder comes in, it's a good way to punish it for later to put it into Flower Trick range, so I should be okay. And then obviously for Skuntank, we could remove Resistance Berry. It might make a Nam a lot more potent, especially on a switch-in. If Thundurus comes in, it dies. If our Caledon comes in, we can knock off a pretty good item. Boulder would die. Manaphy would take a lot. This should actually be a decent position for us, finally. It's not a good position, but it's decent in comparison to the rest of the game so far. So we're going to kind of just hope that we can continue onto that, like, being decent enough type of progress, you know? It's really all we can hope for. We're going to kind of have to see, though. This is going to be a rough one, but I think it's completely on my end. I still have a lot of adjusting to just singles. I have not played a lot of, like, really sweaty singles at all this gen. It's only been Mox. Mox and then, like, a couple Uber's Ladders games, like, pre either DLC. So, we've gotten rid of Girders of Violate. We did, like, 5 damage to it, but that is 5 damage I have done now. Okay. So, what I need to do now is I need to go into a Nam here. And I need to hope that Swave does not just go into Thundurus. It's a very free switch into Thundurus, and honestly, I think I just need to, if Thundurus does come in, I think I just need to take the death and then bring in Poltergeist. Yeah, Poltergeist. I mix it up with Sinistra and Poltergeist and all that. Like, the names are so similar. And Inverse too, which is really annoying. But yeah, if Thundurus comes in hard here, or if like Boulder comes in hard here, I honestly just need to sack a Nam. And just kind of hope. It's unfortunate that Thundurus has Drizzle this week. It's gonna really screw me over. Knockoff, cool. Knockoff is fine. Because it's not like we're losing out damage output. I can just go for a raw Moonblast here. And this Moonblast, oh, actually, hold on. I actually know I outpaced Swave's whole team with this now. I'm actually just gonna go for agility. Because I know I creep the whole team. Because that Boulder's not Scarf, and the Thundurus is not Scarf. And the Manaphy is not Scarf. Skuntank comes in. Okay, cool. That's fine. Now, this will do a fair bit of damage to me, but I think I can take 1 hit. And we can go for Earth Power twice into this pretty freely, I think. So we'll go for Earth Power. We're gonna hope the 2 Earth Powers is enough, because I really, yeah, it's Chukka. I mean, Chukka's pretty obvious. It was definitely Chukka, or like Black Sludge. Oh. No, we're screwed. We're so screwed. Gunk Shot 2. Okay, it's not even P-Jab. Yeah, it's Gunk Shot. Okay, we take it. Don't kill. Oh. Okay, well, if we're gonna be completely honest, this is more for, this more would have been impactful for, like, Sinistra late game. Because I could have maybe taken that hit in theory. I think now it's completely over, I'll be honest. But I mean, it was pretty likely we were gonna get, like, at best, like, 5-0'd at this point in the game. So it is what it is. We're gonna go into Low Kick, at least. Low Kick will actually do some decent damage into a lot of this team at this point, too. So I can kind of get away with that. But I just need to get whatever chip I can get, and then just hope I get sweep with Poltergeist. Well, Poltergeist. Alright, Thundurus comes in. Okay, cool. You know what? We get a kill. The Swip doesn't go for the 6-0. That said, though, I think I still lose to Arcaladon if it's timid. If it's timid Arcaladon, I cannot win. If it is modest Arcaladon, though, I might be fine. But we don't get 6-0'd. So you know what? I can take that. It was a pity kill, but I could take that. That said, though, Girder's gonna be kind of a problem. But I can maybe set up on Girder. That actually might not be the worst thing in the world. We still have a pretty full health Arcaladon. We still have a Boulder that's like half health. But thankfully, though, nothing is scarfed. So, depending on that Arcaladon investment, I'm gonna guess Swave is intelligent enough to creep Timid Max Poltergeist with Arcaladon. It's a modest creep for Swift Swim. Maybe Swave really need the bulk, but I highly doubt it into my team. Arcaladon naturally just walls a lot of it anyway. I still think I should be fine, but I need to kind of hope that Sinistra can, Poltergeist can just take the hit really well. As for what Swave is gonna go into now, I'm gonna guess it's the Arcaladon. I'd be shocked. Yeah, Arcaladon comes after. That's perfectly fine. Okay, as far as my move here, I think I just click Low Kick. I just need to get whatever damage I can get off and just hope. If it's timid, we'll figure that out here, but at least it's good for knowing, like, potential damage rolls and all that. Low Kick, okay, cool. So it's modest. And we got off a pretty sizable hit, too. It's a crit, okay. Well, that explains it. Force Sphere, alright. That's fine. It's Life Orb, too. Okay, that's good to know. Alright, so Rain is up. How many more turns is Rain up for? 3 turns. Okay, cool. So I can't just stall out the Rain. That's not going to happen with Strength Sap. Arcana is not that physically offensive. I just need to go for Shell Smash and hope I can outpace. And also take a Skuntank Sucker Punch, because that is the 4th move here, objectively. We do at least... If we can outpace the Archaludon, if Swave, like, maybe did really misread, then I should be okay. Because then I can at least get another kill, and that's more than I thought I'd get. That said, though, while I could play for differential and just guarantee my Archaludon kill here, it's week 1. I don't need to play for the +1. Well, for the -5, -4 versus -5. It's not that dire yet. This game is dire, but the season is not. So with that in mind, I'd rather just go for the thing that attempts to win. Swave didn't creep. Okay, actually, so see? Yeah. So for what it's worth, this was a really easy creep for Swave. I'll have to ask him later about why he didn't do it. But nonetheless, we got the kill. Skuntank is still going to come in and Sucker Punch us. We do still lose 4-0. But at minimum, this put us in the quote-unquote best position, right? And that said, like, oh, actually, wait, this is going to probably go for Sucker Punch. Oh, I can actually kind of fuck with this. Hold on. We can maybe fuck with this. Never mind, Swave went for knockoff. That's like the good play to make here, because you're not taking shit from Poltergeist. But like, I had to play to my out. I don't even know why I thought he'd have to click Sucker Punch. Knockoff is a very free quick here. That said, though, I can actually probably stall this out. Wait, yeah, we can actually maybe stall this out. Hold on. The Strength Sap might actually come in clutch. Because I can keep dropping these things attack to where it's not going to deal enough damage to me. And then Shadow Ball is actually very free click here. Hold on, we might cook. We might, like, really cook. I didn't even think about that. Because especially if you get back to full, the Shadow Shield's going to be great. Yeah. Okay, good. This is fantastic. This Strength Sap might actually kind of cook. So I'll go for Strength Sap one more time. And then on the next turn, I'm going to go for Shadow Ball into a Strength Sap. Because I do still need to get some damage off nonetheless. Okay, cool. Yeah, so it's doing about like 50. Another knockoff will do like 100. So I'm gonna go for Shadow Ball into Sucker Punch. Well, Shadow Ball into Strength Sap. Then I'll just kind of keep making that repetition, I think. Shadow Ball, Strength Sap. We can keep getting some decent damage. Perfect. Swave's gonna give us another kill. That's fantastic. Because I'm assuming Swave is doing this to try and burn through my Strength Saps, which is fantastic because I did not click it this time. So Manaphy's gonna die. Beautiful. Okay, Manaphy died. Oh my god, is this mon gonna come back? Holy shit, yeah. Because it's what? It's Skuntank, Girder, Boulder, Thunderous, and we know that there's no Scarfer here. Holy shit. This might actually cook. Well, actually, wait, no. I think Swave might actually be fine. There's a reason for this. Because, oh wait, Strength Sap's 16 PP? Oh, we might actually be fine. Yeah, we're gonna be okay. I thought Strength Sap was 8 PP. It's 16 though. Okay, let me actually, now I'm really curious. I need to make sure that I didn't gen this in wrong. Because if this is still 16 PP, then that's fine. Okay, it is 16 PP. Wow, I'm shocked this thing didn't get like nerfed. Okay, well, that's actually really good for me then. Alright, cool. So, I mean, elephant in the room here, obviously, I'm playing into not getting crit, but like, it's still something. We'll go for Shadow Ball and the Strength Sap this turn, because I think that is my out. I do need to get damage on this Skuntank at some point, or I'm going to kind of lose. Okay, cool. Dunk Shot. Okay. Ooh. Okay, that does nothing. Thank goodness. So he's going for that for the poison, though. That is kind of worrisome. We'll go for Strength Sap here, though. I do need to go for it to get some health back. If Swave gets that poison off, that's actually kind of bad. That's, like, really bad for me. Well, it's manageable. It's not preferable, though, because it forces a lot more Strength Sap. And that's definitely what he's trying to go for here. It's his out for sure. Okay, yeah, so we can't fully heal with this, but it's fine. I guess I'll just go for Strength Sap. We'll get it low enough to where this is still doing about like 80 to 70. And then I can quick Shadow Ball again. So we're at 204. How much is it doing? 100. So we'll need to go for one more. One more should be enough to confidently go for Shadow Ball again. Okay, cool. How much is it doing? Well, we're gonna get back to like what, 190, 180? 180, cool. Ooh, wait, hold on. This is actually doing too much. This actually, ooh, we might actually be screwed. We might be screwed. $147, down to 75. We might actually be doing okay. I need to go for one more though. Oh. I didn't realize it was a mechanic. Well, we died anyway, okay. Yeah, and Shadow Ball wasn't gonna kill. I don't even think a crit would have killed at that point. GG to Swift. Swift played that perfectly. It is what it is. It only got brought down to 0-3, so you know what? A lot better than I thought it was going to be. Hopefully you guys enjoyed though, and if you did and you want to see some more content, like and subscribe. For week 2, I'm taking on Nexus. I feel a lot more confident in my matchup against Nexus. For context, against the whole board, Swift's team was definitely the worst matchup because between the Ogre Bond and Manaphy abilities being so heavily, like, very bad for my team, the rest of the matchup should be easier. So going 0-3 against Swave, and especially considering how phenomenal of a player Swave is, no shame in that, especially with my limited singles rep. We'll be doing fine knowing into week 2. Nexus is a pretty scary team, but I thankfully know a lot of how Nexus plays. I've mocked him for the whole gen. It's the one experience for singles I've gotten. So Nexus, if you're watching this, get ready. I'm not holding back. But I'll see you guys next week though. Until then, peace out.